First of all, we're going to look at how children learn, the idea of learning by constructing meaning. From there, we will move on to the philosophy underpinning the programs at Sunnyside International Language Center, what we call the 3 to 18 curriculum. After talking about the values and the ideas behind the curriculum, we will then move on to the different programs. The Shine program, which is the primary years program, and the Voyage program, which is for young adults and above. After that, we would like to share with you the different resources that are involved in the teaching and learning of these programs. For the first segment of this presentation, we would like to explain about what we believe as a language center. We would like to talk about our values and the philosophy which informs our curriculum ideas.
私たち語学センターが目指している学びは構成主義による学びです。構成主義とは教師から一方的に知識を教え込まれるのではなく、学習者が学習対象を見て能動的に理解を組み立て、学習プロセスの中で多くの質的変換が生じる理論です。子どもは皆自ら進んで行動し学習する探求者であり、ジグソーパズルを当てはめていくように、新しい英語の単語やパターンにどう向き合うか、すでに持っている知識を用いながら試行錯誤します。よくある姿の一つとして、子どもたちは新しいことに挑戦するとき、自分にとって自信があり、安心できる方法を選択することが多く、失敗しそうな方法は避けようとします。しかしながら、我々は失敗によってさらに深く学び、想像力を駆使することができるチャンスであると考え、生徒にも失敗を恐れないことを呼びかけています。また、どの子どもも一定の領域内であれば、現在のレベルを超えたところへ到達できる可能性を秘めており、目標レベルに到達するには、教師、保護者、友達からの影響が必要となります。ここで一つ、心理学者であったレフ・ビコツキーによる再近接発達教育という理論をご紹介します。これは、教育は子どもの現在の発達水準に基礎を置くのではなく、発達しつつある水準、予測的発達水準に基づいて行われるべきであるという理論です。自分一人でできることばかり繰り返しても成長はできず、一人では難しいけれど、誰かの協力があればできるかもしれないことを達成していくことで、効率の良い成長が望めます。語学センターの教師は、生徒のレベルを把握し、簡単すぎず難しすぎないという最適な課題を出すことで、生徒の成長をサポートし、生徒もまた最大限成長することが可能です。次に、具体的に英語学習の例を出し説明いたします。
Let's look at an example. Imagine a student is able to produce the sentence, "It's a cat." This is something they are able to do. They can do it. At Sunnyside International Language Center, we would not only recognize this, but also assess where the student needs to develop and to what level of challenge. In this case, the student is not sure how to use the plural form, so the instructor would teach this. They are cats, as well as teaching different forms of the plural, like the es in horses. They are horses. In addition, we would recognize that it is too soon to teach more complex structures like these are, those are, because the student is not yet ready for this. We recognize our student's zone of proximal development. At Sunnyside International Language Center, our instructors are very aware of our students' needs and how to offer just the right amount of challenge.
これは私たち語学センターが大切にしているスキルです。皆さんは21世紀型スキルという言葉を聞いたことがありますか？これは国際団体によって定められた21世紀以降必要とされるスキルですが、コミュニケーション、コラボレーション、クリエイティビティ、クリティカル・シンキングという4つのスキルを指します。この4つの C に加え、語学センターでは子どもたちの理解を深めるため、文脈の中で言葉を教え、自分で使えるようにするコンテクスト化、試験に通用する語学力をつけることを目標とし、段階的に学ぶプログレッシブカリキュラムという2つの C をさらに追加した6つの C に重点を置き、指導を進めています。
Next, we would like to tell you about our curriculum, the Silc 3 to 18. At Sunnyside International Language Center, our curriculum is comprised of 3 separate components. The Sparkle program for our kindergarten students ages 3 to 6 years old. Our Shine program, which is for our primary students aged 6 to 12 years old. And our Voyage program, which is for our junior high school, and adult students. Today, we will be focusing on the Shine program and the Voyage program. Please listen now for an explanation of these programs and their different resources. First, let's look at the Shine program, our program for primary school students, a child-centered program where children learn through discovery and exploration.
小学生向けプログラム社員についてご紹介します。語学センターでは次のような学びの場を提供しています。生徒は知りたいという気持ちを持つべきであると考え、生徒の興味・関心を引く質問や課題を出します。教師は一方的に教えるのではなく、生徒の学びを促し、21世紀型スキル 6C を植え付けます。試験を設け、生徒自身に目標を持たせます。挑戦することの素晴らしさを伝えます。また、間違えることは良しとされ、周りもそれを受け入れます。答えを丸暗記するのではなく、知識を用いながら答えを導き出していき、教師は構成主義的アプローチを積極的に利用します。
Let's now look at a sample of the teaching and learning in the Shine program. This is an example of an activity that a teacher might do in a Shine class. The teacher will always start with a provocation. This is to get the students' interest. In this case, the teacher presents the children with a picture of the unit, with some of the key phrases and sentences blocked out. The teacher will then engage the students by asking them questions about what they see. For example, what can you see in this picture? Look at what Emmy is saying. What do you think Mark is saying? The teacher will try and get the children to use their thinking skills to try and guess the sentence and the target structure. Next, the children will speak to each other. They will use their communication skills to try and share ideas. This is good for student understanding as well as for the teacher to get an idea of where the students are with their level. Next, the children listen to the dialogue and they write their ideas down on a paper. After the children have shared their ideas, the children then get out their textbooks and check their answers. Lastly, the children start to practice the language. This process of first thinking about the language before being presented with the answer is a good way for students to think deeper about English language structures. Next, let's move on to the Voyage Program. The Voyage Program is our English curriculum for junior high school, and adult students, and is all about learning through an inquiry-based approach.
それでは例としてVoyageプログラムの学習の流れをご紹介します。まずはじめに生徒に導入のビデオを見せ、新しい単元のテーマに対する興味を刺激します。次に教師は新しいテーマについてイエス・ノーでは答えられない自由型質問を生徒に投げかけ、生徒の知識や理解を引き出します。生徒は語彙リストを確認し、ビデオの内容と関連づけ、その後、読解の活動へ進み、新しく学ぶ語彙を習得します。また、リーディングの活動を通して、読み取った内容について話し合い、情報を整理します。このように、テーマに沿って一連の流れで学習を進めていくため、新しい語彙などもスムーズに習得することが可能となります。
Let's now look at a sample of a learning engagement in the Voyage program. First, the children watch a provocation video. This stimulates the mind and raises interest in the theme. Next, the teacher will ask some open-ended questions about the new theme, collecting knowledge and understanding in the process. Children are then given vocabulary word banks to make connections to the video's content and the big question in which they're studying. Children then go on to use this vocabulary in practice contexts. Children are then given a reading activity, either fiction or non-fiction, putting the vocabulary into context. The children are then able to discuss the reading, answer comprehension questions, and personalize the content. The last segment of this presentation will be dedicated to the THRAS approach. The THRAS approach is what we use in Sunnyside International Language Centre to teach reading, writing, and spelling skills. Listen now to an explanation of the THRAS approach and a few examples of the teaching and learning in action.
皆さんはTHRASという言葉を聞いたことがありますか？これは語学センターが導入している フォニックスのプログラムで英語が持ついくつかの音を学び、リーディングスキル、ライティングスキルの向上を期待できるものです。スラスの教授法は44の言語音を認識、識別、使用することから始まり、さまざまなスラスの学習ツールを使いながら、それに慣れ、スペルの問題解決に対しても自分で解決できるクリティカルシンキングの力もまた向上させます。ただ暗記して英単語を覚えるのではなく、スラスでは自らが考え、知識を活用しながら読み書きができるようになるよう、プログラムが構成されています。
Let's look now at an example of how the thrust approach works. But before that, let's look at a more standard approach to the teaching of phonics. Here we have a simple and more traditional phonics chart. As you can see, the alphabet is listed from A to Z. This approach to phonics teaches letters and sounds using only one letter per sound, or in some cases, 2 letters. This works for regular words, such as cat, k, a, t, and hen, h, e, n, and even slightly longer words like milk, m, I, o, k. However, when we look at words which are not phonologically regular, these standard traditional approaches are not good enough. Let's look at the simple word, the. Looking at the simple word the with this standard and traditional phonics chart, we have a lot of difficulties when we're sounding out. In this chart, it would be t, h, e, t, h, e. The word the cannot be sounded out. Even the word egg. Looking at the chart, it would be e, g, g, egg. It wouldn't work. Even the word ink. I, n, k, ink. The word ink has a ng sound in the middle. Ink. Therefore, this traditional chart and traditional approach does not work. The thrust approach provides us with a much more robust approach. Let's now look at the thrust chart. The thrust chart is a much more powerful tool than the traditional approaches that we looked on the last slide. As you can see, all 44 sounds of the English language are represented. In addition to this, there are different spellings for each sound, so that students can understand different spellings depending on the word. Let's look at an example. Here is the k box. As we can see, there is different pictures representing the different spellings of the same sound. K. The teacher would show this to the children. This is the k box. We have k as in cat, k as in kitten, k as in duck, k as in school, k as in queen. And the students know that the sound k for cat is C, for kitten it's K, for duck it's CK, for school it's CH, and for queen it's Q. The students learn in this way, learning how to represent the sounds using different spellings. This is a very powerful part of the thrust approach.